Well, I thought maybe it's interesting for you to see how we build up the curricula in Rotterdam, in the Rotterdam World Music Academy, which is part of the CODARTS University for Performing Arts. Well, officially we have the same system as you here in Germany, so it's not really a university, but translated it's called a university, but actually it's a Musikhochschule. I think it's interesting to see the curricula, but let me first explain. We have these 5 programs: flamenco guitar, which is a little bit an exception because it's only about guitar, and we're going to change that because actually in Rotterdam we're focusing on different genres. So we have Latin. And for us, Latin exists of 2 main bodies: the Afro-Caribbean traditions and Brazilian traditions. We do have Argentinian tango, North Indian classical music, which we now changed into a little bit a new name to call it Indian music, because we made it a little bit broader. Also, the light music forms are involved more, like Bollywood, Hindi pop, Asian underground. And what do we have more? Of course, Turkish music. I think it's nice if Martin demonstrate the curriculum of the Turkish department. But first, so we have these special genres, and that means that, for example, in the tango department, you can study the instruments that belong to that music, which are in the first place the music of the instruments of the orchestra tipica, which are bandoneon, violin, piano, double bass, and or in general strings. So also a cello and viola. In the Latin department, we have percussion, which is actually the main thing. We have voice education in Latin, and then piano, bass. We don't have the wind instruments in our department, but that's a cooperation with a jazz academy. Then for Indian music. Because there also you have to make choices. What are you able to teach and what is too much? So we have voice education in the Drupad style, of course Bansuri, sitar, tabla, and charangi. And in the Turkish department, well, Martin can tell about that, how we organize that. What I just said, the flamenco is until now, it was the first, it started in 85, and we're at the moment to change that. Until now, it's actually only possible to do flamenco guitar. We want to expand that with voice, with percussion, and with dance. Well, Martin, maybe you can say something about the Turkish department. Maybe interesting to see the curriculum of. Maybe we can start with the tango thing, Martin. That's sort of. So you see these chapters. You see the creating and performing subject, which contains the main subject, the orchestra ensemble, and for the 4th year, unfortunately you cannot see it, the studio production. In the next chapter, it's about the genre-specific theory and practice. Then you have theoretical subjects, profession and policy, includes educational program. For example, then all students are obliged to do in the 3rd and 4th year a minor. I'll come back to that later. And then you have academy-specific space for own projects, but also for own initiatives, workshops, and ISAs, as we call it, individual study activities. This is for all programs we have the same, but not only with, yesterday I explained a little bit how CODARTS, the conservatory of CODARTS is built up, of these different academies, but all the other academies for pop, for jazz, for classical or Western classical music, they have the same schedule, they have the same chapters, and more or less the same study credits.
Schedule?
Wait. So and that's one of the new and fantastic things. Students have possibilities to make exchanges between these different programs, even between the different academies. For example, a bass player that really want to get more information about how to. Yesterday I gave the same example, but that really wants to know more about using the bow. Most probably can go the best to a classical bass player. He has more knowledge about that than the average jazz player. Well, that's possible as long as he stay within the borders we appointed for that. For example, you have 70 minutes of main subject lesson per week. So he could apply for example, half an hour work with a classical teacher and 40 minutes per week with the bass teacher from the tango department, for example. So that's important that we can make these exchanges. Martin, maybe this is the tango curriculum. Yeah, let's go to the Turkish program.
Well, yeah, for Turkish, I can a little bit tell about this, what you mentioned in the beginning, a conservatory not as a fixed institution, but as an actor. Since this is quite new, we are comparable with the Helsinki situation. We are in the 5th year. So last year, before the summer, we had the first degree of BA after 4 years. So it's now in a way established, but now we have the second generation problem. We have to rebuild everything, and we are still, we have to act and to change every time, always. So we started, the prehistory is that there was a start in 2000, and after 2 years this has to be stopped for a lot of problems. And then we started again from zero with new students and new teachers. And we started to be practical also with Balama. That was the easiest thing to do. And then we had, for instance, we realized that it's more or less just male students. We had just one woman studying Balama. And then after, 2 years ago, we started with a preparatory year for singing folk music, and there were just women applying, and that changed the situation in this program completely, of course. And because before we had many problems, we have some problems from outside that the people, these Turks are always sticking together, and now with females it's more a normal society, and it looks a little bit more positive to outsiders. And also, well, that's true, and also from inside it's better, because we had a lot of problems with lack of discipline and people coming late or didn't show up at all. And now these women studying Turkish music, they had a completely different approach, coming always in time, doing their homework. That it was like that, and so this infected the men as well. So it becomes quite more regular and stable. Then we started even before singing with percussion, which which was a very small program and will always remain small. There was from time to time 1 or 2 students. That's it. But of course, so we are growing. Then we also had, for instance, with this Iranian student coming from Helsinki, we have some of these students where we don't have a teacher. So, and what to do with that? For instance, now we have a new student, for the first time a Dutch student, which changes a lot also, because in the beginning we had to teach in Turkish many things. Of course, not Western theory, not music worldwide and these things, but the main subject, the ensemble, the Turkish music theory and all that was done in Turkish. And then we had to change because he doesn't know Turkish. And now, so we have to change many things. And for the first year now we have to done it in English or in Dutch. And for the next year, we still don't know how to do that because we have some subject with teachers coming from Turkey, who doesn't know English. So we have to change it again. So we have to act always.